doing well. I have some really awesome news for you. We today for our Motivation Monday and first Motivation Monday ever, we have Paralympic rider Becca Hart with us. So I am so excited. I can't even stand it. I'm going to conference her in right now. Thank you to everyone who has sent in questions. And here we go. So she's coming on from Wellington, Florida, right, Becca?
Everybody. Oh, going live.
All right, you're on, Becca.
I am from Wellington. Hey, how are you? And I'm here with Tack, who's right now scratching himself. He thinks
He's such a pretty horse.
he's very itchy today.
Thanks so much for joining us. I just wanted to go through some of what we know about you to start off with, and some of the reasons why we're so proud of you and look up to you as a community here at Sprout. So some of the accomplishments that you have, the Paralympic gold team medal. I have everything through 2015, so you'll have to update me past there. PPEDI wins, silvers, bronzes as well, High Point, Dressage Awards, London Paralympics, Rio, the list goes on and on. What are your highlights in riding?
For me, the biggest one that we had was in 2018. We did the World Equestrian Games with this guy right here who's licking his stall. So we went to the World Equestrian Games and we got the first ever medal for the United States at the World Equestrian Game level. He got the silver and the bronze, so that was incredibly important highlight for me, and so this guy's very special.
Oh, he is so special, and you're so special to our community. I have someone texting me right now. I just want to make sure that they can see our video here. So thank you once again for joining us. One of the things
I'm so happy to do. It gives us something to do when we're all kind of self-quarantining.
One of the things that I think makes you so special is that not only do you have a lot of accomplishments, but you're such a great team player and a great person, and someone that we can look up to for personal values, not just for your riding accomplishments. And so most of our questions are really around how you handle situations and why you're here. So the first question is, what's your favorite thing about horses?
Ooh, there's a lot of things. My ultimate favorite thing, I think, is that they have no judgment. They have no preconceived notion about who you are as a person. They respond to you very much in kind. So if you treat them well and with love and kindness, that's what they show to you. They don't care if you have any differences or, anything. They don't judge you. They don't have that. So it's a very safe, open relationship that you can have with them. And I think that, to me, most empowering things about horses is that I can, they don't care that I walk differently than anyone else, and I can just go in there and they say, okay, you're my person. As he comes to say hello.
You can tell that Tack thinks that you're his person.
So, we're just friends, and it's great that there is no judgment.
And how did you get started with riding and then this journey that you have in competition? Where did it all start?
So it was actually, I was the horse crazy little girl. I loved them since I was super little. And I was coming back from a family vacation. My parents grew up, I grew up in a city, so I didn't have access to horses. We're not a horse family. And there was a pony ride on the side of the road. And I screamed at my dad to stop the car and let me go out and play with them. And he basically stopped the car coming home from a family vacation and let me jump on this pony, and that was my first experience. And then it just kind of grew from there. And then on the entire ride home, I was like, can we find somewhere that I can ride? Can I take lessons? Can I keep doing this as a career? And it just grew from there. I started taking weekly lessons. It was amazing physical therapy for me. I didn't start it necessarily for physical therapy. but it has been such an important thing for helping me maintain my mobility. Um, and just emotionally and physically and competitively, it's been an amazing journey. Um, and it started from that tiny little pony on the side of the road coming home from a family vacation, and it's been
Wow.
5 years coming.
Amazing how things like that work. The
Yeah,
little things end up adding up. And so just kind of continuing on with that, how did you get started with competition?
I've always been competitive. I enjoyed playing, sports, and what I had a hard time doing as a kid was like typical team sports. It's soccer and baseball, and my legs weren't really allowing me to achieve what I wanted to in those fields. But with the horses, all of a sudden, they were my equalizer. So it didn't, my legs didn't really matter that they didn't work like everyone else's. I was able to find kind of this niche where I could really do everything that I wanted to do and achieve what I wanted to. So it hooked me, and I started out in hunter jumpers and doing some eventing. And then I found out about the Paralympics, the Paralympics in 1998, and that was strictly dressage. Don't eat my shirt. You're naughty. And so in 1998 is when I actually switched to para dressage and kind of fell in love with dressage and the communication with the horses.
So cool. So how do you choose or find your horses?
Text. So basically, when I'm looking for a new para horse, I don't. Basically, what I'm looking for is a really good a horse that moves well, that responds to me. They don't have to, because I am a para rider, sometimes my aids are different than an able-bodied rider. So when I'm trying a new horse, they don't always have to get the right answer, but I like them to give me some sort of an answer. So like with Tex, when I went and tried him, I actually found his video on YouTube. And hi, buddy. He says, I want to be in this too.
His nose is so cute.
And so I found his video on YouTube. We were sitting in the hotel and we were just looking at sales videos, and I popped in dressage horse for sale, and his video popped up. We were in Germany at the time. And so I called her and I said, can I come in and try him? And she's like, yeah, he's quite hot. Sorry, he's very distracting. And so I went and tried him, and he didn't always understand. But what I liked about him is that he always gave me some sort of a reaction. It could be the wrong reaction, but that's okay. I didn't expect him to get it 100% correct. So as long as there's some sort of feedback from them as an individual, that for me gives me a good sense that they're going to turn into a partner with me. Versus a horse, sometimes if I get on and I have no leg, they will shut down and kind of don't understand. And for me, that's a little bit of a warning sign that maybe this isn't going to work out. It doesn't mean that it won't.
Right.
But usually if there's some sort of a response, and then if I told him, I was like, yes, that's what I want. He went, oh, okay, that's fine. I can do that way. So it's just kind of that give and take in the communication.
I love how you mentioned the word partnerships. That's a really big word here at Sprout, because we do have so many students, and our horses are, working with so many students. But one of the big things that we try to do at our barn is also, it's all about a partnership, and the horse has to be a part of choosing to be a part of that. So cool. Okay, what advice do you have for riders who are just starting this journey?
So my main advice is to just love the sport and love the horses first, and then to find an amazing support network. Up there at Sprout, it sounds like you guys have an amazing dynamic and really great working relationship with everyone. And I think for me, that is one of the most important foundations, is that you have to love what you're doing, you have to love the animal, and you need to have a group behind you that can help you support that dream and that goal, be it just for personal riding, be it for competition aspirations, but really just have a really good network and coach behind you. And I think that's one of the most important things when you're starting out.
Really good advice. How do you deal with fear or nerves?
There are definitely nerves, especially I remember going to my first Olympics and being a little bit kind of deer in the headlights, not really not really sure what to do and how to process that. And that's one of those things that you need to be able to center yourself. So for me, I ground myself when I'm having one of those moments where I consciously pick something that I can see, something that I can touch, and something that I can smell, and that puts me back into the present. And for me, that is such an important thing because horses are very much living in the present. So you have to be there for them in a feeder sense. And when you're self are a little distracted in the kind of emotional state of being, you need to be able to come back to that moment in time and be able to be there with them. And that's so incredibly important in competition when you have so many outside factors. So for me, it's very much being able to come back to center and to focus and to calm kind of my inner self so that Tack, who is kind of a hot horse, doesn't get any of that feeling from me. So for that, it's just a lot of very much a mental kind of centering.
I love those strategies. I feel like they're strategies that every single person can use.
Yeah, for sure.
And you have them at the drop of a hat that you can pick up when needed. And so thank you for sharing those.
Yeah.
I will take those to heart as well. Okay, the next one. Have you ever experienced failure and how did you come back from it?
Yes, I have definitely. And the horse world is incredibly amazing because it can have the most amazing highlights, but at the same time, it's a very humbling sport. And for me, I have not always made my goals. I've been incredibly fortunate for in my career and having achieved some truly incredible things. But for me, when I first actually tried to make the team, I did not make the first team that I tried. And that was a very critical point in my career because it was that moment where I said, okay, I failed. I didn't make it. Now, do I stop or do I keep going? And that, I think, is a really big question for everyone that's in that situation when they're failing. And I think that's very individual. You can use those moments to go, maybe it is time to take a different path. Or you can take those moments and go, okay, reevaluate what happened, how can I improve it, how can I make it better, what do I need to do to move forward from this. That's the option that I chose. Not to say that it was that simply found. I did definitely go out into the paddock with my horse and had a good cry. So that was my first reaction. But then I went, okay, I need to restructure. I need to figure out what to do. And then I changed my training program. I knew I had 4 years, changed how I mentally approached competing and training. And so far, it's been incredibly successful for me. So I think it's those failure moments. Don't think of them as failure. Think of them as learning opportunities and a moment to take a breath, reevaluate, and move forward. So that's basically how I handled it.
Awesome. So along those lines, have you ever fallen off?
Yes, I have fallen off many times. I probably more than I would like to remember. But luckily, I had my very first horse. I had a little Arabian horse named Eli, who was probably not the right horse for me, in all honesty. And I fell off him almost every day. And I just kind of learned to tuck and roll, and we kept going. And at that time, I think I was 12, and you bounced pretty well. And then, but I think it's an important part of riding as well, is that they are prey animals, and things don't always go according to plan, and sometimes you got to roll with the punches.
So true. We have brown ribbons at Sprout. So when someone falls off, they get a brown ribbon.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Keep going. Okay, next one. How do you think positively about the challenges that you face in life?
So for me, I always try and remember that it's only one card that I have been dealt in life, and that you have an entire hand to play. So you have so many other factors that you can use to define who you are and really play the game of life. And if you only focus on that one card that is challenging, then you don't always look at the whole kind of strategy of how to play the game. So for me, it's using how to learn, take that challenge and turn it into something positive and turn it into something good. If I did not have the condition that I do, which is hereditary spastic paraplegia, which basically means that my lower half doesn't really work, I would not be sitting here with this amazing horse who left me at this moment. And in this
one moment.
Right, like, Tex, come back, I need you. He's taking a hay break. He's having a little
yeah.
And I wouldn't have gone to 3 Paralympic games. So it's really the perspective of being able to take whatever you find challenging and turning that roadblock into something strategic and that you can use to your advantage.
So cool. Such a great way to think of things. One of the things that we try to do at Sprout is be possibilitarians. So that see the ability and think of all the possibilities that surround that. So it sounds like we are so aligned with all of that. Do you have a motto or favorite expression to stay encouraged when things are hard?
Yeah. Say that again, I'm sorry.
Do you have a motto or favorite expression to stay encouraged when things are hard?
Oh, I do. I have 2. One came from one of my best friends, which is from Finding Nemo, which is just keep swimming. And I actually have a little stuffed Finding Nemo toy that I take to all the horse shows with me. So when things don't go quite according to plan, I just give it a little squeeze and go, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And my other one is adapt and overcome. So adapt to everything that you need to and then figure out a way to get around it. So those are my 2.
So cool. We're gonna have to post them in the barn. Okay, how do you plan to train for the next Paralympics or the next big thing that you have coming up?
So we're currently, season just ended down here in Wellington. So we basically did the last 10 weeks of horse showing and competing, but normally on a kind of a weekly basis. I ride 5 to 6 days a week. And then with the horses, we try and get them off property to do kind of like an away horse show experience so they can get, and I can get used to any of the nerves that are there and, you know, out to see the flowers and make sure that everyone's gonna stay focused in a new situation. And the way I look at it is same job, different sandbox. So we go everywhere and we can still produce the results that we need in the ring. And then I'm also really big on fitness, both for myself and for the horses. So they do aqua treading and they go out in their paddocks because I also think that they work really hard for us, but they also need to have a chance to just get to be horses and go roll and eat grass. So it's a nice balance between kind of work and play with them to keep it interesting and keep it basically enjoyable for everyone.
And then continuing on that, do you stretch or work out, which it sounds that you do? And is there any stretch or workout that you seem to really like and think would be helpful for our riders to possibly try?
I do. I really think that riding and stretching is working out and stretching is an incredibly important part. I work out with a trainer 3 days a week. I also do Pilates, and I also have an MAT technician that I have work on me, and it's basically muscle activation technique. And she comes in and kind of stimulates individual nerve points for me, which I found really quite helpful because it's muscles that I can't activate anymore on my own. She can go in and try and get them to fire. So I have her do a session, and then I'll go and do kind of a Pilates, which is a lot of core and centering and balance. So I think as a rider, those are all really important things to have mental awareness of your core and balance and the breath and the breathing. So I think it's a very interesting combination of strength and flexibility.
So true. We're going to try to do a Fitness Friday Um,
Ooh, I
and
love
so we're
that.
going to do a challenge, and then everybody
Yeah.
will get to video themselves doing the challenge. So if you would like to join us,
I will totally join you. Yeah.
if you have a challenge for the riders, we would love
I
to
like
share
it.
that with them.
Yeah.
Um,
I will join you for Fitness Fridays.
awesome. Okay. What's your biggest challenge with traveling and competing?
The biggest challenge with me for traveling and competing is usually the logistics of trying to get this guy and myself all coordinated and comfortable in landing at the same time. For me, it's also a fatigue with the flying, so I'm always aware of how early I go into a competition so that I have time to let the horses recover, but also let the people recover because my muscles definitely have kind of a time limit of how long I can kind of keep going on adrenaline and kind of out of normal routine. So I always make sure that I have time to let my body recharge before I need it to be on point for a maiden competition.
Yeah, I can only imagine how hard it is to travel to different countries with not only a horse, but everything else that goes around competing. So I'm sure that that is just a massive undertaking.
That's definitely the hardest part in making sure that it's silly things like this guy doesn't always like to drink water when he goes to new places, so we always take Mott's apple juice and flavor his water so it's a little apple flavored and just weird things like that you're just like, oh, this is not a challenge I was expecting.
And they might not have Mott's at the country.
They might not have Mott's.
Yeah.
And that's definitely his favorite.
Okay, we're down to the last few. What adaptive tack do you use, and is your saddle custom made?
I do have adaptive tack, which actually I don't know if I can do this, but we'll roll down to the tack room and I'll see if I can show you guys. But it is custom made. All my saddles are made by Patrick Saddlery. They do an amazing job. So it's custom for each horse that I have. They have their own saddle, just so that their backs are super comfortable. And then it's also custom for me because my body is uneven on both sides. So they basically modify the flaps for me so that then when I sit in it, even though I'm naturally uneven, I can sit balanced, if that makes sense.
So cool.
All right. A little tour of the barn.
Woohoo!
Right? So let me see if I flip this around. Yes, so Patrick Saddlery. And just pull its cover off. Actually, sorry.
Kate has come out to shout to help us too, Becca.
Oh, really? Oh, so you know Kate. Okay. So my saddle.
Yeah. So through you and through Muriel, Forrest over at Wheatland.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
Oh, there's such a good company.
So can you talk us through the saddle and
pretty standard? But my knee block is a lot higher. Yeah. Massage seat, but then this knee block normally would stop about here, but I've got mine considerably higher so that it provides kind of some support to my upper thigh. And then I have this little block, which I'm not sure if you can really see it. There we go. This little block is totally removable, so if I would fall off, everything will break away. And then I always have my grab strap, just in case things don't go quite according to plan. It's a little safety belt. And I always ride with my breakaway stirrups because if for security, it's a mental thing for me. I don't want my foot to ever get stuck. So this just pops off and my foot would be free if I need it to. So it's just a little tube. And that, oops, woo. that's basically my saddle. And then the only other thing that I use is like a Velcro strap around my leg that just kind of helps hold my leg steady. And I also have, if I'm riding Mula, not Tex, I have what is called a split rein for a double bridle. Um, and that, so when we're riding dressage, some horses go in a, whoa, here we are, because I don't have any
just
leg.
a little bit, but I follow.
And riding with 4 reins and 2 whips gets a little tricky. So I basically,
I'm sure.
yeah. What's that? Is, oh, it's not showing up very well, but
I just said you're breaking up.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, cool.
Let me go back outside. Switch. Okay, sorry guys. I was in the tack room and we have terrible signal in there, so I'll come back out here. And see if I can't show this a little more. Because it's actually, they're kind of cool and very helpful. So when we're riding some horses, we have to ride in a double bridle, which is the bridle that has the 2 bits, and then you have 2 reins on each of those. And for me, I basically have, I don't know if you can see it, so those are attached to the bits there, and then they come down to a single buckle here.
Oh, cool.
And then it goes to a single rein, so that all I'm holding is this 1 rein rather than trying to hold those 2 reins and my whips and remember where I'm going in my dressage test and all those other things.
And that's
So it just helps make it a little bit easier.
Do you always ride your horses in double bridles, or do you school in something different?
I usually ride in snaffle bridles, so just a normal standard single bridle. And then if I'm competing, depending on what class I'm competing in, if I'm doing able-bodied or if I'm doing para, I will then either ride in the snaffle or the double, kind of depending on each show situation.
Awesome.
Oh, hi, Tex.
Okay. Rachel Wessel, one of our riders, she wanted us to show you her saddle, adaptive saddle.
Oh, yeah.
Thing, but I don't know how to do that quickly. I'll give you a tour of the barn.
You guys, like an impromptu tour of mine. Ooh, nice.
Yeah. This is our arena.
That's beautiful.
So, and then this is where our parents sit. Classroom over here. I don't know if you can see inside, but we have a classroom. This was our founding pony, Finn. He started it all. I'm on my computer. And then we have our screen schedule. These are all of our horse information.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Here's some ponies. This is Cowboy. I don't know if you can see him.
Yeah.
There.
And High's window.
Buggy. Bug. There he is.
Oh,
lots of blankets because it has not been warm.
Yeah.
Like it is in
That
Florida.
is the one nice thing about living in Florida.
We're going, here's our tack room. A little bit crazy, impromptu at the moment, but there's lots of horses, so lots of bridles. And then So, so Becca, we met in Tryon a few years ago. It was like the highlight of my life, I'll say. One of the highlights of my life. And so at the time we had talked about adaptive tack and how you had your saddle and some ideas. So we ended up contacting a company in France that does an addition onto a saddle that you can put on any saddle. And then you have a back and front area. So Annie's putting it on right now. She's our operations director. We weren't planning on doing this, but she's just showing how Rachel wanted you to see it. So she's pretty excited about it.
For something new.
Anyway, it goes on the front and it goes on the back and it goes on quickly, which is also really nice. And for a program like ours, we're able to use a lot of different saddles so that the saddle fits the horse, and then we can adapt and add extras, as needed. So it worked out for us.
Really cool.
Thank you for the ideas.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So back to where we were, but I wanted to say thank you very, very much from all of us at Sprout and whoever else watches this. We hope to make this available to anyone who wants to be a part of it. And so how can we as a community come behind you and be supportive of you?
Honestly, just, you can look me up on Facebook. I kind of post my adventures and what we're doing. But honestly, just reach out. I would love to talk to you guys more. If I could ever do anything or come up to Virginia or, let me know. I'd be happy to. And it's just it would be super.
Okay, well, you have a lot of people rooting for you.
I appreciate any vibes, man. Just tell us that you're fun swimming and let us, I'll take any positive, happy thoughts for Tex and I. It's just, we've got kind of a big year heading forward, looking at Tokyo, and I'll take all the happy thoughts. Right, Tex?
Okay, we'll be sending them.
Yeah.
Thank you again. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing the first Motivation Monday. You inspire us.
Happy to do it. Thank you guys so much for having me on. It was great.
Thank you. All right, have a good one. Bye.